In January 2018, a truck driver was seriously injured when he was struck by a suspended load during the unloading of equipment at a worksite. The other workers involved in the unloading operation, including the site's supervisor, dogman, and crane operator, all received a pre-start briefing about loading and unloading at various locations across the site, held relevant high-risk work licenses, and wore full PPE. The truck driver, who arrived later, was not involved in the briefing and was not fully inducted onto the site by the principal contractor. He had completed one delivery to the site on the day of the incident and was escorted to a second location where an item of piling plant was unloaded from the truck. 6 steel pile casings, 5.7 metres in length by 1 metre in diameter and weighing approximately 4 tonnes, were then loaded by mobile slewing crane onto the trailer of the truck. The steel pile casings are tubular-like pipes used to form the piles. These were secured and transported to another location on site for unloading by crane. The rigging method used to unload the casings was the handshake method. The handshake method requires the crane operator to place the crane's boom and hook over the centre of the casing. The chain sling is then lowered to the casing and one chain leg threaded through the casing's inner circumference, latching its hook to the hook of the second chain, like a handshake. The connected hooks were positioned in the centre of the load. A rope tagline was tied to a chain leg to allow the dogman to manually control the load's lateral movement during lifting. The first 2 loads were lifted and landed without incident, although the truck driver stood on the trailer throughout the lifting operation. While the site supervisor was directly involved in the first lift, he moved some distance away prior to the second lift and was not directly supervising the operation. The dogman and the truck driver set up the third lift. The truck driver, who did not hold a high-risk work licence for performing dogging work, remained standing on the bed of the trailer and signalled the crane operator to commence the lift. As the casing was lifted slightly above the trailer's bed, the action of lifting the load before the boom was positioned over the casing's centre of gravity and before the rigging was properly centred within the casing caused the load to shift sideways as it was lifted. The truck driver was struck with the end of the casing, trapping him between the suspended load and another casing on the truck. He sustained serious crush injuries, requiring hospitalisation. An investigation into the incident identified that the piling company failed to enforce a safe work procedure for loading and unloading objects from trucks, including enforcement of an adequate exclusion zone around trucks during unloading operations, enforcing a requirement that non-essential personnel, such as the truck driver, remained outside of the exclusion zone at all times. Ensure workers are adequately supervised and only those workers who hold the relevant high-risk work licence undertake high-risk work. Before high-risk construction work commences, ensure that a safe work method statement for the proposed work is prepared and the work is carried out in accordance with the safe work method statement. A person must not carry out a class of high-risk work unless the person holds a high-risk work licence for that work. Only an allocated dogman is to signal a lift to a crane operator once the correct crane hook positioning is confirmed. When lifting with cranes, an exclusion zone is to be in place to prevent crush injuries to workers from potential uncontrolled movement of loads. Workers should be adequately supervised to ensure that non-essential workers remain outside of the exclusion zone at all times. Workers should be appropriately inducted to the relevant task. Control measures in place should be reviewed and revised where there is a change to a system of work or a process or procedure. To help you understand your obligations, guidance is available from the Safe Work New South Wales Code of Practice for Construction Work, August 2019. Safe Work Australia, Guide to Mobile Cranes, December 2015. This guidance and more information is available at safework.nsw.gov.au. This video was produced as a result of an enforceable undertaking between Arvo Piling Australia Proprietary Limited and Safe Work New South Wales.